Hello, 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 folks. Let's do this. Well. We are back. Wrestlepalooza is in 3 nights live on ESPN as they begin a new relationship with WWE and ESPN merged together. And yeah, Wrestlepalooza is a dumbass name. This is Erik Dunn from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, with Falls Ground Anywhere on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. Hope y'all are enjoying this ride we're on. Uh, WWE has a big Saturday, and the reason why I say that is ESPN has to work. I mean, all this money, it has to work. The only thing is, I'm going to be thinking that like a lot of people are going to be buying like a VPN to watch it on Netflix internationally to avoid having to pay prices. You know what I mean? Because if you're only going to use ESPN Unlimited like once, then why are you spending $30 a month? Like that doesn't make any sense. You honestly could just go buy a VPN and just watch it off Netflix. I mean, like that's what I do when I watch Raw. Thankfully, I have SmackDown on USA on my cable, so I just watch that too. But like, come on, like seriously, like it's ridiculous. But uh, for those of you that watched SmackDown Friday night, Brock's ready. For those of you that watched Raw on Monday night from Springfield, the GOAT is ready. And it's John and Brock, the final chapter. This literally goes back 25 years. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about the history of Brock and John, too, a little bit throughout our time together, so you guys can know a bit more about the Cena Lesnar rivalry. Um, but then we'll also go over the entire WrestlePalooza card. Ron and I will give our predictions that you'll see on the screen there because Ron's behind the scenes, and we will get the ball rolling. Uh, Hope y'all are enjoying things from a Boston sports perspective. I'll just say real quick for those in Red Sox Nation, I am so sorry. I'm right there with you. You know, for those in Patriots Nation, well, let's keep riding this high we're on and see what happens this Sunday. For those that want to come and find me, I am live every Wednesday at 5 when I am here on these platforms: YouTube, Kick, and a Rumble at Rhode Island Broadcasting, and Twitch at RI_broadcasting. These four live at 5 every Wednesday. And then it's podcasted up either the next day or that weekend on these four: Red Circle, Spotify, TuneIn, and iHeart. Sorry. Red Circle, Spotify, TuneIn, and iHeart. I couldn't say it fully. At RI Broadcasting. And then also please follow us on social media on these platforms: U42, Odyssey, Space Hay, MeWe, Blue Sky, TikTok, Parlor, Patreon, at RI Broadcasting. For those that want to be a supporting member financially, you can help support us at Rhode so you can find a way to join the family. This broadcast of Falls Gone Anywhere is the exclusive property of Airtime Productions, Ron Rigo, and Rhode Island Broadcasting for the use of our audience. Any publication, reuse, or redistribution by anyone is not prohibited and is given the express consent to be shared everywhere and is greatly appreciated. So, before we go over that, let me give you guys this first. And we're going to do this a little bit early. Erik's thoughts. I want to give you Erik's thoughts before we go over anything else. So the card is pretty solid. Do I think it's better than Paris last month? I do. I actually do. And it should be interesting how ESPN directs this broadcast compared to Peacock. Um, and another thing to add to Eric's thoughts here is to let you know that available on Tuesday, tickets are going to go on sale for Saturday night's main event and SmackDown from Salt Lake City, Utah, on Halloween and November 1st. Okay, the tickets actually went on sale yesterday, um, and the general sale for individual tickets began today at noon, and it will go until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. Um, Saturday night's main event passes are also available now through WWE's exclusive partner On Location, giving fans the opportunity to purchase ticket packages before they go on sale to the general public. These passes offer fans the chance to be ringside for every exhilarating moment, including premium seating, all-inclusive pre-show hospitality, featuring superstar appearances, ringside photo opportunities, and much more. So definitely not bad. However, if you really want to do it, they're freaking expensive. I'll actually tell you about these prices. Why the hell not? I'll tell you what the prices. Yeah. So it's and also for you to buy something like this, $700 per person for ticket and priority pass, lower upper level seating, all inclusive pre-show hospitality with superstar appearances, uh, dedicated priority pass entrance, WWE credential and lanyard, professional on location on site staff support. And then if you want to do a champion pass, it's $1,750 per person, premium ringside seating, ringside photo op, all inclusive pre-show hospitality with superstar appearances, commemorative chair, and dedicated priority pass entrance. Yeah, and I believe those are just the packages for that's the packages for Saturday night's main event. That's insane. But hey, those that are willing to spend it, you know. And that is my thoughts on that. Now, before we go over the card, let me give you my thoughts regarding John and Brock. So, if you can think back to when they entered the developmental back when it was WWF in 2000. Before it was NXT and FCW, it was OVW, Ohio, sorry, Ohio Valley Wrestling that was down in Kentucky, and it was managed at the time by Jim Cornette, and that's when Brock and John first came into the territory. 2002, they both got called up at different times. Brock immediately had a rocket ship up his ass and was the youngest WWE champion in history at 25, while John was out of favor, fell out of favor, and was about to get released. John then turned into the Doctor of Thugonomics that saved his career and immediately got him into main event status by mid 2003 with Brock. Brock would then go on to become a three-time WWE champion, a 2003 World Rumble winner, a 2002 King of the Ring winner, and would just dominate WWE until early 2004 when the torch got passed over to Eddie Guerrero. God bless and RIP, Viva la Raza. One of the most fan-loved wrestlers you'll ever meet, Eddie Guerrero. There's no one like him. There'll never be another Latino Heat. Never. And then you guys probably know what happened. WrestleMania 20 at MSG. Brock demanded his release about a month prior to that, and his last match was against Goldberg, in which Goldberg won. They both were leaving anyway. Um, John then won the United States title, and that began the rest of the path for John. Um, Brock was then gone for about 8 years. Tried the NFL, didn't make the regular season team with the Minnesota Vikings. He was the last person cut at training camp, and then he began about a 3.5 year stint with UFC. Um, Won the UFC heavyweight championship in only his third bout um, in the company. But then diverticulitis came and took down Lesnar's career in UFC, and Brock was in and out of hospital between world title bouts and nearly died. Um, and because of his health, Brock had to retire from UFC. And throughout that time, throughout the next 7 years, John got bigger and bigger and bigger. He eventually became a 9-time world champion, a 2008 Royal Rumble winner, multiple time U.S. champion, multiple time tag team champion, and multiple time WrestleMania main eventer. And then you fast forward to 2012. Brock returns after WrestleMania 28, after John lost to The Rock in Miami. And that began a feud between John and Brock at Extreme Rules, in which Brock was tired of the politics that made him leave 8 years prior to that, and he quit again. Either that was storyline, that was kayfabe, I had no idea. Kayfabe, I have no idea. But 2012 for Cena was probably one of, if not the worst year of his entire career. And somehow he was voted Superstar of the Year. I mean, I don't know how he got it. I mean, he even admitted in public that he did not deserve it because he said himself, and I quote, "A real man owns up to his flaws." And he had losses after losses, controversy, and drama. Brock then had a feud with Triple H, and unfortunately, he attacked Shawn Michaels many more than one time, which led to um, a match between both of them at SummerSlam. That was, um, I believe, that one was a no DQ match in which Triple H got his arm broken twice by Brock at that time. Triple H had surgery. He was off TV. Brock also was gone until February. Lost to the beginning of WrestleMania the following year at MetLife. Had a feud with Punk, which then put him all the way over to breaking the Undertaker's 21-0 streak at WrestleMania, and that took off everything else from there. But how John and Brock came together with this was John was the original founder of Suplex City. SummerSlam 14, you guys remember that? 16 German suplexes with 3 F5s. An absolute ass whooping. Night of Champions about a month and a half. No, Night of Champions about a month and a half later. They wrestled again. I believe that match was about 40 minutes. John had 4 AAs on him, put him in the STF where Seth Rollins had to interfere, cause a DQ because he tried to cash in his Running the Bank contract. And then Royal Rumble 15, triple threat between all three. And then that would be it for John and Brock. They wouldn't be facing off against each other at all for years down the road after that. Brock would go one way, John would go another way. John was going through a lot of injuries and a schedule over in Hollywood, so he was doing a lot less time in WWE because of the wear and tear. Brock was still going hard as champion. I believe Brock then eventually became a 10-time world champion by after all this was said and done. And then 2021 came after COVID. Brock returned after about 18 and a half months away, maybe 19 months away. F5 Cena at the end of SummerSlam 21, and then feuded with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. And then you fast forward 4 years later to SummerSlam about a month and a half ago. He F5's John again, and this time we're on the retirement tour. So if you wrap all that up, John and Brock has a rivalry that goes for that long. And John has rarely ever beaten him. I believe looking at the scorecard, John's only beaten him, I want to say only one time. Even though the scorecard says 2-4, I would call Extreme Rules 2012 really the only time. Um, Lesnar is a overwhelming presence. No one's going to argue with me on that one. Brock Lesnar, you will never meet anyone else like him. I don't think we'll ever see anyone else like him on this planet ever. The freak athleticism, the speed and mobility and the agility to move around like a cat at 290 pounds. An absolute freak. And he's going to be a Hall of Famer for WWE at some point because of all of the destruction he's laid in his way throughout his entire career. Because he has a resume that is Hall of Fame worthy, beyond a doubt. But this match for me is a big one for John. And I'll also tell you this too, as we're now going into Wrestlepalooza, that match is the main event on Saturday night. So, with this being the main event, let's now go over the card. I'm obviously going to hope that John will win this because I don't think that they're going to make him lose the rest of the way. I mean, he shouldn't lose at all going forward anyway, but Ron, your thoughts? Sorry, your thoughts? John or Brock? Okay, so Ron and I are both on the same page. We're both going with John. Nothing more to say about that. And then mixed tag team match. CM Punk and AJ Lee versus the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and the Women's Intercontinental Champion, the man Becky Lynch. Ron's going Seth and Becky. I believe with this being AJ's first match that decade, I'm going to go Punk and AJ. I don't think they're going to have AJ lose her first match back. So I'm picking that one. For the Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. I believe Stephanie Vaquer won a Battle Royal at Evolution to qualify for that. It was supposed to be a clash in Paris, but then Naomi relinquished it because of her pregnancy. So I'm picking Stephanie Vaquer. Both on the same page. Good. This one, Usos versus Bronson and Braun. I really don't want to pick against them, but I don't know, Ron. I feel like I may have to. I don't want to pick against the Usos, but I just got a feeling. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to go with you on that one. And honestly, if we're wrong, then what do you do? Yeah, I'm not gonna pick the Usos. I would want them to win, but I'm not gonna pick them just for the score's sake. This one, Cody Rhodes is going to defend the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre. These two go back a little bit as well. Early 2010s. Yep, Cody for sure. Beyond a doubt. Awesome. So Ron and I agree on almost everything. But yeah, Cody, I think to me, is not going to lose his title for a while again. I think John passed the torch to him, and he deserves it. So, with all that being said, for next week's broadcast, we're going to recap the card, go over how the positions went, and then we're going to look ahead to October with Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. And we will go over all of that for next week's broadcast. I hope y'all I really hope y'all enjoyed the show. My only concern is I don't think it's worth it to watch it on ESPN because just because of the $30 a month, it really isn't. So, hey, if you're like me and you can find a VPN to safely watch it on Netflix or nationally and save you a few bucks, why not? But the best way I can tell you about Saturday is this. The best part about this show is not ESPN. It's the fact that Cena and Lesnar is the main event. That's going to be a 30-minute all-out brawl. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be a squash. Lesnar's not going to kick his ass. I got a feeling this is going to be close. I don't think this is going to be a lot. It's not going to be one side the entire time. It might be at first because Brock's has always been faster out of the gate, but we'll see. We will see. On behalf of the man behind the scenes, where we go, Erik Dunn saying so long and thank you from my home in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. This has been a presentation of Falls Count Anywhere on the Island Broadcasting Network. I'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you for watching as well as for listening.